Hi guys, today I gotta show you something that's been requested by my beta testers for a while now and is finally ready to show off. And that's the organization generator. So I open it up and I click generate. And it's rolling a bunch of things. It gives me a name, how many people are in here, a motto that they have, in this case, this will defend. So I'm already feeling this is some sort of a loyal group, a strong group. But before I get into that too much, let's check what their alignment is. Alignment of lawful neutral. And it gives us some missions to send people out on. And this isn't all formatted by default because of the limitations of making it so all of this in here fits the alignment. It's a small limitations. You do need to do format yourself if you want to pretty print it like what I'm about to do. But you can see that it does the bulk of the work for you here. Gives us what their beliefs are, what their goals are, all sorts of cool stuff here. Now I'm just going to come through real quick, highlight this, and I personally like this to be bold and italic, and that's just Control B, Control I in our software. So it's really fast to do, and it makes it look nice and pretty. Kind of makes it pop out a little. Okay, so power. Only a 4, and this is on a scale of 0 to 10, so a 4 is pretty weak. So the guild members need to be careful even when they're speaking with city guards. Being part of the guild does not offer you much protection because of what this came up. Scope, 3, so most of the state. So in this city, the surrounding areas, they have some influence, but not really beyond that. Centralization, this really gets into the how much power do you have in your local chapter, your local group, and how much power is in the overarching, wherever the main base is, telling you what you are to be doing. And we're seeing it's a force. It's much more towards the cell groups rather than the whole organization. 91 years, so it's been around for a while, but even in that time, there only is 6 on secrecy, which means they're relatively high up there. So people have heard about them, but they don't know much about them. There's a little bit of mystery and intrigue. So not much influence. This may be tied directly into not being all that well known, even though they've been around a while. They have some secrets, and they're very good at keeping them. Occasionally you'll notice that you have a duplicate here. That's part of why I'm giving you 4 of each of these, is so you can just get rid of your duplicates and not have to worry about having to type in something new to that. Now, you will notice that we have a lawful neutral. This neutral allows it to choose either good or evil. So you're going to have some tension pulling there. And that means that down here in the goal, we actually see that it chose an evil goal. That they want to bind the demonic power for their own use. So even though they're lawful, because of this neutral here, we can end up with some really kind of shady stuff going on. Anyways, it gives us some benefits, gives us some obligations, some signature spells, and gives us a slot for parent and daughter organizations. We'll get into that in just a minute. So this was Anak. So I'll stick that in there so it's easy to remember and keep these separate. And this is Onak. And that's used in the random name generator. Anyway, so think different. So this one is kind of outside of the box. It's a chaotic good group. The missions that they send out are to weaken existing fortifications. Okay, that's going to go with chaotic. Investigate rebellion. Instigate rebellion. Definitely chaotic. Hunt down an evil warlock. Free a bunch of slaves. The beliefs. The result is what matters. How you get there is up to you. So we're seeing some really good chaotic things coming through. Some very strong. The weak dissolve. Dignity and defense. Very good. True joy comes from helping others. And their final goal is to spawn an eternal war. That one doesn't really fit here. So they're chaotic, and yes, chaotic would possibly want to spawn war, but war is also kind of evil, so that doesn't fit. That's more of a chaotic evil goal. Let's give it something that fits better with the chaotic good. Something that's kind of off the wall, unpredictable, and yet would really help the masses. What kind of pops into my mind with that is Good would really love to see everyone having food to eat. Chaotic says it doesn't matter how we do that. So we're going to go Robin Hood style here, and their goal is to take food from the rich and give it to the poor. So most of this is good, but occasionally you want to rewrite something you don't quite like. Some benefits. So there's a signet ring that doesn't mean much since it's not all that well known, but at least to be known by others within the organization that may then give you things. You can learn the guild's special ability. It doesn't actually tell us what that guild's special ability would be, but we may want to write something that fits in well with our Robin Hood style coming in here. And so this would be detect riches. By concentrating for 3 hours, you feel the direction of the closest person with more than 50 GP on them. That's going to be an interesting dynamic. You can just sit still and say, oh, there's someone over there to loot. Now, it may not, it's just giving you the direction, and it took you 3 hours to do that, so it may not be the first person you come across on that path. It's going to lead to some interesting dynamics. And again, you don't have to do that. You can write your own. You can write whatever you want with that. Access to the guild armory. And that's probably going to be lower class items early on, better stuff as we keep going. Gives us some spells in here from cantrips and other things that if you're creating a spellcaster for this organization is right and nice and easy to do. Now, let's say that ONEC is a data organization of Anak. So what we would do is we'd simply drag this over there, and then we come down here, and we drag this over here, and now we have a way that if we close one, we can say, oh, it has a data organization. These two, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for, but you could use that for if you have an overarching assassins guild that kind of puts the rules into place for all of the assassins, but then inside of that, you have 4, 5, 6 other guilds that have different ways that they do assassins. And so you have this parent organization that's kind of policing force, and then these child organizations that are going off and trying to do things on their own. And that'd be an easy way to keep track of that. Well, thank you guys for coming out. As you can see, there's a lot of information I'm not getting into. I mean, I only had time to show you 2 generations, and it can generate a whole lot more than that. It's not perfect, but it is coming together. I'm going to keep working on this. So follow the channel and join us over at Fantasy Grounds College, where we can train you up on how to use the software we're using here and teach you about a bunch of other things. God bless you guys and have a great day. Bye.